So I'd like to bring you through the first year in our comp care program to give you a sense for what we do and how we do it. So the first few weeks are really focused in on onboarding you. Um, the core of our system is our O.O.D.A risk system. So we build you a portal. It actually looks just like this on the right-hand side. Um, we load in a lot of your historical data as it relates to your policies and your claims. Uh, if you have a fleet auto exposure, we could log in all your drivers and build out driver report cards for you. We map out all your prior losses, and we build out custom forms for our data protocol. This system is basically the foundation of comp care. Imagine going to the doctors and the doctor, you're expecting a diagnosis from the doctor, but yet they don't run any tests. They've never done any assessments. They have no baseline to understand what your cholesterol levels are, what your blood work looks like, your body weight, your body mass. Think of all the vital statistics that a doctor might take before they begin to evaluate you. Well, our O.O.D.A risk system does that as it relates to your risk. So we want to understand historically what's happened inside your organization so we can then begin to action plan and to begin to advise you on where we can deploy resources to get a better result than you have in the past. So next step is we do essentially a screen share. We have a video camera in our conference room, and we bring you through the O.O.D.A risk system to the right to basically show you how to use it. It's a very simple system. It's very utilitarian. When we initially designed the system, we did it under the auspice that, we don't want you to have to really work hard to get at the information. The key is that you're able to execute off the information you have. So as you can see over here to the right, you can see how it's laid out so you can evaluate your claims, the claims value, the number of incidents, real quick, by location, by cause. Just an example. Again, if you don't have the data, you can't manage what you don't know. And this is essentially where we start. So the other issue or challenge that we see as it relates to employee injuries is a lot of it starts in the front as it relates to HR issues. So we see that employees aren't properly onboarded, they're not getting the proper training. There's a lot of HR issues that kind of bleed in and ultimately end up as workers' comp issues. So we have a tool called Think HR, which we help deploy to help you on some of the front end stuff that you should be doing. Next step is we do an assessment. It's a pretty robust assessment because what we're trying to achieve here is we're looking at your historical data, and then we're comparing and contrasting the historical data with your means, methods, processes, and protocols internally, so we can figure out where the low-hanging fruit is, where the gaps are relative to what they should be, and then we begin to coach you off of what this blueprint is. So the blueprint is basically, it's a pretty robust assessment. At the end of it, you get a report that details your strengths and your weaknesses, and then what we use this blueprint over the next 2 years to begin to build out smaller projects to get you into a best practices situation. As an example, what the assessment might reveal is that you might not have a fully functioning return to work program. So that might be one of the projects that we work on over the next 2 years to build out a fully functioning return to work program and help you deploy it inside your organization, as an example. And that won't come about by just reading the data. You actually have to do the assessment. We do a day loss protocol. Again, our whole system's predicated on, it's a three-pronged attack. So there's the pre-loss, there's the day of loss, and then there's a claims management piece. So the day of loss protocol is really, really critical. How you handle an employee incident over the first 48 hours will ultimately determine how expensive that employee injury may result in. So we teach senior management first what proper day of protocol looks like, and then we help you build out workflows. Once we get agreement into the workflows, then we will do a training program for your direct report supervisors, so we can basically get your entire organization coordinated, and again, we can start to see in our metrics significant improvements. As you improve here, you will absolutely improve here. This is a big deal. So we coach to this. We set up benchmarks. Again, before you come into the program, we want to see what your vitals are. So as we work with you over the next 2 years, we're constantly monitoring where you are as it relates to these items. I won't go into what these items are and how they impact your organization. That's for another time. But I just wanted to share with you that we do set up benchmarking so you can evaluate your progress in the program and your basically your ROI. You'll by setting the benchmarks up initially, you'll be able to determine what your ROI is in our comp care program. Risk review. The risk review, so we're going to go in and look at your metrics, and once we have everything loaded into the system, it becomes pretty easy for us to evaluate where you are, and then we go back to and we go through the blueprint, and we talk about what the next year looks like in terms of some of the projects that we'd like to build out together and get them deployed, and that's all done in a risk review. Then we do a claims coaching call that's done with our claims advocates. Again, the purpose there is we will get into the individual claims and go through what some of the issues and challenges are, and we share with you what our action plan might be to actually close the claim out. It's important for all your open claims that we have an action plan to actually get them closed. And all you have to do is go into our system and you can just click on it, and it brings you inside each instance, gives you the financials. You can read our notes as it relates to the claim. And that's essentially a claims coaching call. We do mod analysis and credit check, a lot of moving parts as it relates to how your policies and your coverage is rated. Oftentimes we see lots of errors in there, so trust all your friends, always cut the cards. We just want to review it and make sure that what was done properly. We see a lot of errors. We recently just did one where we saw that a particular construction company was getting charged for a workers' comp claim that happened on an OSIP, but it wasn't their claim, it was a different subs, and unless you actually go through and you look at every little piece of data, you're going to miss that. Do a second claims coaching call. Again, purpose of these claims coaching calls is we kind of really get into each individual open claim, talk about the action plan. The risk reviews are the macros. So one, you're in the forest, another one, you're above the forest, which we find has great utility inside a lot of organizations because one's very strategic and the other's tactical. Depending on the claims volume that you have, we typically like to, if there's a lot of significant activity and you have a lot of opens, we'd like to do it 3 to 4 times a year. If you don't have that much activity, we're going to do it twice a year. So we're just showing you that in this particular instance, we're doing it 3 times a year. At the end of the year, we do an annual risk review. So it's kind of like a year-end summary and wrap. We go through what the current metrics are compared to your benchmarks that we initially set up. We talked about some of the projects that we've worked on together as a team, where we are on those things. And then we also use the annual risk review to talk about what the next year looks like and other projects that we want to tackle off of the blueprint. And that's essentially what year 1 looks like. So we thank you for the gift of your time, and we look forward to working with you.